All systems go. Clear for liftoff.
What is going on, everybody? It is Friday, January 5th. This is your boy Ham coming to you with Marley. We are going to run through a NFL best ball live draft over on Drafters. This show and every playoff best ball show is brought to you by our friends over at Drafters. Make sure you head on over there to Drafters, get a 100% deposit bonus up to $100 when you type in the word SHIPIT. Marley, I'll bring you in right away. How you doing, man? How's your Friday going? Looks like we're having some technical difficulties getting us on the screen. We'll get it figured out. But what's going on with you, my man? How you doing today?
Not much. I'm good. I've been firing away at these playoff best balls over on Drafters. This is really my first year kind of getting into it. I played a few last year, but this contest over on Drafters just looks too good to pass up on. We got currently 30% full, $250,000 total prizes, $50,000 to first. So I had to jump in. I'm already probably 23 deep, something like that. Wasn't even planning on playing. Now I'm 23 deep, and I'm probably going to keep on going. So I'm excited to fire one off with you today.
Yeah, no, that's how it goes. I didn't play on Drafters last year, and then I saw you and Title doing all those shows. Before the season, I think I got up to 55 teams, and that was my best team. I think was like 1,300. So not a Title-esque finish. Did not win that 300K. Hopefully, you had a better year than I did, but. Why don't we go ahead and get in a tournament?
Let's hop right on in. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure why I can't get the screen figured out. We don't have Title here, who's always been our producer every time I've been on for the best ball. But at least you can see us and the screen.
Yeah, I'm in a tournament. It says 4 more to join. Are you in the same tournament?
I am. Now I'm in.
Let's get 3 more. Now there's 3. Okay. Yeah, let me see if I can get in here. We got some people out there watching. Tweezy, what's going on, Tweezy? Always see you in the chat. Appreciate you. Whaler, 135. We are live. Thank you for tuning in. And you still cashed, even not in first on Drafters. Yeah, good job, Whaler. Let's see. How many does it say we need left?
Still says 3 more. Yeah, it looks like could be waiting for 4 more at this point.
Yeah, as we're waiting, talk to everybody a little bit about kind of what's been your strategy in that first 23 or 20 so that you've done. What's kind of been your strategy so far to date in this $20 one?
So, yeah, you're really just trying to stack up teams. You really want a full roster of starters anyways. You start 1 quarterback, 1 running back, 1 tight end, 2 wide receivers, and then a flex. So you got 6 starting spots, and ideally you have all 6 starters in each round of the playoffs. So if you go out there and you get Purdy with one of his skill players in the first round, then you're not getting any points with those guys in the first round. So now you got to start thinking about that first round bye week. You need replacement points there later. But what I like to do is I try to stack up maybe 3 teams, 1 AFC team, 1 NFC team, and then whatever falls to me for a third. Sometimes it doesn't really work out, and I end up going 4 teams. But if you can get, the conference round with a full roster of teams, then you're looking pretty. And this has kind of been my struggle with the first pick of the draft because it's really hard to pass up on CMC. So I've been going CMC, but then you can't stack up the 49ers because rarely does another one fall to you. So then you're on to another team that you got to try and stack. So I don't really have a great strategy for this first pick. Hopefully I figure it out during this draft because it's going to be too hard to pass up on CMC. But, man, if in the 4th spot, I feel like I would rather be where you are because you're going to have the draft fall to you, and then you could start making your story of how the playoffs are going to go as the draft starts happening. But looks like you're on your second one. Do you have any memories of the first?
Yeah. So I bet a lot of Eagles to win the Super Bowl. This was before they went on their 5-game losing streak or 4-game losing streak, whatever it is. So I'm really high on the Eagles, and I was able to. I'm trying to fix this screen. I was able to get all the Eagles. So I went all in on the Eagles in my first one just because I like them, and that's just kind of way it fell to me. And I was lucky enough as well to get some Ravens, some lower tier Ravens. I got Mark Andrews, which is kind of, if they get there, hopefully he's in play. I got Justice Hill on that team. So, I mean, naturally I'll need the Eagles to carry me, and then those Ravens, which are in good standing. But obviously you'll have to have all 6 positions filled up at the Super Bowl. And the good thing about drafters too is that it's a cumulative score, right? It's not an advance, so it's a cumulative score, just like their season long is. So it looks like we're rolling. I'll shut up, and I don't think this one will take too long. And no, it certainly didn't. You took CMC number 1 overall, which I'm assuming you've seen that the most, right? CMC going number 1.
Yeah, every draft I've been in, CMC has gone number 1, and then it can kind of get funky with 2 through 4. But I've only seen CMC go in my drafts.
What's kind of been your strategy? You get 12 people. Are you taking 2 quarterbacks, like 3 tight ends? What's kind of been your strategy so far? Have you thought that far out?
So the ones I like the most, I feel like, are maybe my Philly teams, because you can get 4, maybe even 5 guys from the Eagles on your team and almost fill out the full starting roster there. But if I can get a Hurts in there or a Josh Allen as my quarterback, then I'm fine keeping it at 1 quarterback. And now my story is that's the team that's going to the Super Bowl. I got them every round. I don't even need a second quarterback. But if I end up waiting, you kind of get locked out of a lot of stacks. And then I'll go with 2. Sometimes I've even gone 3 if I get locked out, past the Tua range or something like that. I'm stuck with like a Flacco and a Lawrence and something else I don't like a Goff or something. But I am trying to get just something that makes sense in my head. I don't go into any draft with a plan. This is what I'm going to do. This is who I'm going to stack up. I let it fall to me, and then the story starts building right there. But yeah, I would say 2 quarterbacks, 2 tight ends is my average build.
Yeah, I went Tyreek Hill first. I thought about Hoop when I was either thinking CeeDee Lamb or Tyreek, and we know how Dak does in the playoffs. Even though they're more than likely going to get a couple home games, I don't like them going on the road to San Fran. So I went Tyreek Hill, A.J. Brown, which naturally I'm going to try to build a Dolphins-Eagles Super Bowl. Let's see where you go.
Yeah, so every time I get CMC, I feel like it comes back, and then I'm stacking up Buffalo or Kansas City, and I feel like that's what everyone is doing. But it's so hard to get away from it because you can't stack up San Francisco now. So now I'm building the story as if they're still in the Super Bowl. I got one of my running back spots filled. I either go with the Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen. I'm gonna go with Mahomes on this one because I went with Josh Allen earlier today. Since Kelsey's already gone, I'm gonna go ahead and take Rashee Rice. So now I'm looking at a Kansas City, San Francisco possible Super Bowl for this build.
Yep, and if anyone listening in has never played on drafters, it's similar to DK in the sense that it is PPR. There are no bonuses, so you do get a full point per reception. Then pretty much everything else is the same. Standard scoring wise, as opposed to there are no bonuses, but there is a PPR. I like that build actually. I know the Chiefs have been struggling, but man, I wouldn't want to fade Mahomes. In the playoffs, he's going to have to play his first career road game. I don't mind that at all. I think that's a good pick, especially the Bills, crazy as it seems, may not even make the playoffs. So I don't hate that at all. I took AJ Brown. I don't really want to go another receiver in Devontae, but just the way this build is shaking up, I think I'm going to take Devontae, then try to get Tua on the flip and see if I can land him, which I don't think Tua will be taken when he comes back around to me.
Yeah, I would say you might have to worry about the guy who just took Mostert. Oh yeah, but he's coming around. You get to draft before him, so yeah, you're good.
Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and take my quarterback because, like you said, I definitely want to have a quarterback in the Super Bowl, assuming my team gets there. So yeah, I went ahead and got Tua. Yeah, so that guy wouldn't get him because he was starting to take those fins as well.
Yeah, man, the worst are when you got somebody who just starts taking a player from each team and he kind of screws up the draft for everybody because he ruins your stack and now you're on to something else, and then he probably ruins that one later and you're full with a team that's probably dead because the most you got is like 2 players on one team. I've had a handful of drafts where that's been the case, and I feel like I probably got $100 worth of dead money out there. But man, I'm already locked out of my San Francisco and Kansas City studs. I'm on to like a second a secondary type of stack, which I don't even know what I like here. I'm thinking, with drafters, the thing is you got to fill out a tight end spot. So I think I'm going to go ahead and take a Likely and a Goddard. So now I got an NFC and an AFC tight end. Hopefully one of them can go far into the playoffs. But that's the difference between drafters and the other sides is they're kind of lumping in wide receivers with tight ends on the other sides. And now I think you can get a big leap up at the tight end spot because it's a starting spot on drafters. So every team has to have one, or if they don't, they're just not going to be getting points on a starting position. So I try to make it a point to get 2 tight ends that make sense on each team.
Yeah, that's a good strategy as well. I'm trying to think about what I'm going to do next. Looks like I'm up now. What's going on, Jeff? What's going on, Nickel? Appreciate you having you in here, Jeff. You make a good point there. I'll leave that up here while I draft. And I need a running back, obviously. He just took Gibbs. I was looking at Gibbs before I flipped over. I'm going to stay with the Finns onslaught and just go ahead and get Achane. If Mostert, if that injury is worse than expected, Achane, we saw what he did against the Ravens last week. I like his explosiveness. So hopefully the Finns, if the Finns win on Sunday, Big Marley, they're the 2 seed. Obviously have 2 home games and potentially a third if the Ravens can slip up. So Tambo won't want to hear this, but we know how the Ravens do. They've been choking ever since Lamar's been in the NFL. So hopefully they can choke again. I can get 3 home games out of the Finns.
Yeah, I like that. That's what I would have done as well. I think the Dolphins and the Eagles are my most stacked teams that I've done so far. I mean, I don't know how great the chances are that they even make it to the Super Bowl, but I like the talent around the team. And if they can get there with all 4 games, then I'm sitting pretty, especially if I have any Eagles and Dolphins full stacks. If I can get them both in the Super Bowl, then I just got all the dudes,
Yeah, I really want an NFC tight end. I'm kind of stuck and only 6 seconds left. I'm going to take Njoku just because I like his – I think he may only play 1, at most 2 games. But, man, Flacco's really been targeting him, so I don't mind Njoku there. Obviously, I don't want Njoku to make it to the Super Bowl unless I go back and get Flacco and some other guys. But got to have – I think you're right. Got to have 2 tight ends. Definitely got to have 1 in the Super Bowl, so hopefully we can get that.
Yeah, I like that as well. And I have been stacking up the Browns. They've been playing awesome. I think they got a full, well-rounded team. I'm not completely writing them off the Super Bowl chances anyway. So I got some in there. And how many people are actually stacking up the Browns, hoping that they make it that far? I just feel like your team is different if it does actually happen.
And man, defense's travels in the playoffs as well, and they got a killer defense. Browns, Raven. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you while you're about to draft.
Good. I'm starting to regret not getting Diggs, Allen now that Gabe is here with Kincaid. Sometimes that's how it goes.
Yeah.
But now I'm at the point where I'm trying to stack up 4 teams and just hopefully these are the teams that end up in that conference, the final 4,
Yeah, it looks like, if you go CMC 1, it's kind of tough. It's obviously tough to stack the Niners, but it's even tough to stack the Chiefs on the back end if you do it the way that you did it.
Yeah, I can get some late wide receivers with the Chiefs, and that also helps me make my team a little bit different. Maybe I can get, I don't know, like a Richie James, who's probably not even in most of these drafts. If he can get 2 touchdowns, just random touchdowns in a game, that's going to help me big time, especially with my Mahomes stack. So I like Mahomes teams for that reason, but it just sucks when you have to decide between Mahomes and Allen, and then you choose the wrong one because all the other team keeps falling to you. And I've had that happen in multiple of them. But when you're doing a lot of drafts and you got more so of a portfolio, it doesn't sting as bad. But if you're doing 1 draft and you just keep getting sniped over and over, there's nothing more tilting.
Yeah, and kind of what I did to your Browns point is now I'm going, Eagles in the Super Bowl, and then I'm going, Browns Dolphins Super Bowl. So I'm kind of putting all my chips in on those two teams. We'll see who else I can get.
Yeah. The story changes as the draft moves along.
Yep. So now I've just drafted 3 straight Browns. Didn't have any Browns on my radar coming in, but hey, things change. Things change quickly.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, that's similar to the builds that I do, and that's why I like the 4 spot more than this 1 spot, because the CMC just throws me off so hard, and I still have not had – I actually think I have 1 Purdy CMC team, but I've never had one of the other skill players fall to my CMC team. So it's just so hard to stack up San Francisco. Man, man, what do we do here? I think I got to take Stafford at this point. And then maybe another. Man, this is getting rough. I guess I'll take Gainwell to go with my Goddard. So we'll go Stafford, Gainwell. Just keep stacking on teams. Even if I don't love the players, I just try to stack on teams. Hopefully you get some more points each round with those teams advancing.
But that's the thing, though. If we see a Rams-Chiefs Super Bowl, it's unlikely, yeah. But if they both, win 3 games, then yeah, you're sitting pretty. I don't hate that at all.
Exactly.
I'm going to get Joe Flacco eventually, but I need another tight end. I need an NFC tight end. I don't really see one I like. I'm going to get who do I want to get here?
Yeah, it's tough.
I'm going to go with Flacco just to buy me some more time because I know I want him. I'm not really in love with David Montgomery.
Yeah. I like it. Four Browns in a row. If they go, you got a chance to ship it for sure.
Yeah, with you already having 2 tight ends, I don't think you'll have any interest in Higbee. Hopefully, I'm not sniping Higbee.
Go for it.
Yeah, he's the best remaining NFC tight end. I need one over there, and I guess I could get Durham.
Yeah,
Smart.
I mean, I guess you don't. If you're now writing the story of the Browns are going to the Super Bowl, and you think you got Njoku each round, then you don't really have to get a second one.
Yeah, that's true too.
But you got 2% chance of them.
Yeah, but if Miami goes all the way, I got a Miami team too. So I would need that. So maybe we have a Miami or in LA, and maybe we both have a shot. Who knows?
Yeah. Yeah. Some of the teams I feel real good about when it ends, but those are usually the teams that I have only 3 teams worth of players and I just stack them completely. The ones where I'm all spread out, I just feel like I'm throwing $20 into the pot. But since this is also a Kansas City team, I'm going to have to go with Jerick McKinnon, especially since I missed out on Pacheco. I was hoping I would get Pacheco to fall to me, but I didn't. So we're going to take McKinnon. And then, man, I think I'm going to throw on Juwan Jennings just to go with a little bit more San Francisco as well. So we'll just keep stacking on teams. Maybe these guys can fall into the end zone, get me some points. But we're just filling out a roster. Hopefully you got some players in the conference finals, especially the Super Bowl is even better. I remember actually last year I only did a couple teams, but it was over on Underdog where you have to get through each round. And I had a fully stacked 49ers, fully stacked Bengals, and they ended up both losing in the conference championship. So I had 0 points. I made it to the finals, but I had 0 players going, so I had 0 points. But had those 2 teams been in the Super Bowl, I would have had the nuts because I had every position covered for both teams. So it kind of it falls that way. But if you can just get lucky with these players that you're drafting round by round, that's how you're going to win it. And this one I like more so because it is cumulative points rather than not only do you got to get past your pod, but then you still have to have enough players to field a Super Bowl team. So it's just real tough on those other sides. I think Drafters is the best one out there right now. So get over there. If you use promo code SHIPIT, they will match your deposit up to $100. So you can go in there, buy 5 of these drafts. They'll match it. You get 5 more. And then when you do 10 drafts, they give you another draft as well. So get over there on Drafters. You're not going to be getting those types of bonuses on other sites.
I remember last year, no one was drafting DK Metcalf because they were playing the 49ers in the first round. And DK, they lost the game, but DK absolutely nuked. And to your point over there on Underdog, you had to have DK Metcalf in round 1 just because, he had some obscene. Let me grab somebody before the time's running out. I did too much talking. I'm going to take Kamara. That was a bad pick, but I was talking. But, hey, it's number 69, so maybe Alvin Kamara sneaks in the playoffs and we'll get rolling.
I like it. All right, I got to go with Kansas City wide receiver. I said Richie James earlier. I guess we'll ride with him. And he fills out my 12. So, yeah, I don't mind mine. We got Patrick Mahomes to Jerick McKinnon, Rashee Rice, Richie James. And then, man, we're kind of hoping that Philly tags along with them. Then we got Goddard who can go along in the tight end spot. And then Gainwell could maybe be in the flex. I also got Matthew Stafford stacked up with Kyron Williams and Cooper Kupp. And then since it's a CMC team, I wanted to throw another San Francisco guy on there. So I got Juwan Jennings as well. I don't hate it, but I also don't love it. I regret not going Allen on this lineup, but that's just because the guys would have fallen to me with like a Gabe Davis and a Kincaid. But I feel like it's okay.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at it, I mean, obviously you're going to need the you don't have to have it. I think the Chiefs in the Super Bowl would be good for you. Then you got what, 3 or 4 different teams possibly from the NFC side that you could use. But like I said with DK Metcalf, it's those guys that are going to play one game, maybe 2, but that go for 35, right? Who's that going to be? Who's going to be this year's DK Metcalf? Hopefully, I found one of those with Jonathan Taylor or Alvin Kamara, because we know how Kamara can rack up those catches.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that makes more sense on drafters because like you get DK through, that's awesome for Underdog, but then they get kicked out in round 2. You have no DK going through the rest of the playoffs. But on drafters, you might have a similar lineup to other people, but DK just boosted you 20 points ahead of everybody else because of that week 1. So I just think it's such an interesting tournament. And the more teams I do, just the more hooked I get, the more strategy comes to my head, the more I want to keep building to try and get different teams. But hopefully we can get lucky and ship this thing in a few weeks.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Do we want to are we just doing one draft today? Is that what they did last time? Do you know? Do we want to do another one?
Up to you. I can do another one today. Next week I'm a little bit more squeezed on time, but I got time if you want to do
it. I'm doing an NBA show in an hour and a half. Let's just go ahead and hop in another one if you want to. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Let me get back there to the home. We'll run through another one. Hopefully we get different spots to pick from. Let me know when you're clicking in. I'll click in as well.
All right. Click in, join, take my money. Let's get it.
Yeah, I'm in. Right. You're in. 2 more join. If you're out there, want to join the $20, we got 2 spots left. These have been filling quite quickly, so I'm sure it'll be fast. But hopefully, one of our members will get into, or someone out there listening. Now here we go. We're rolling. It's too late now. Let's see where we're at. All right. So I'm 5. You're 6.
Right next to each other.
Yeah. We got this CIAH guy, 69. He was in the last one with us too.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I talk strategy. You went first last or first last time, last this time. Who would you hope to get at 6?
I like 6 a lot because I really have no hopes. And I typically take, someone in this range right here. I have a lot of Brock Purdy. I have Purdy to Ayuk. I have Purdy to Kittle. I have Hurts to A.J. Brown. I got it all. I just kind of mix it around. But the builds that I feel I like the most are like a Hurts Brown stack right here with 6-7, because you can get 4 Eagles no problem because they kind of just all match the ADP, which is also bad because you have a lot of similar teams out there. But that's where you just want to get different in these other spots and then start mixing around your AFC teams, hoping that you can just hit that Super Bowl combo with the Eagles being there. But I prefer 6 over 1 for sure.
Yeah, just looking at some of these comments in the chat. He loves stacking one team in a division and then 2 to 3 pieces from a couple teams in the other division. I feel like that's kind of what you did, Marley. You got, you obviously need the Chiefs to get in the Super Bowl, and then you got some other pieces from the NFC side.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. So Whaler was Fuzzhead. So Whaler was in our last one. I did not see that, Whaler, just now coming back. And then Coach is in our net. Coach is in this one, so that's awesome.
Oh, nice. Let's get it. And he hates going first, he says.
Yeah, well, yeah, and you do too. This is my 3rd one, as you can see. And so I haven't gotten CMC first. I went full Eagles the first time as well, and then got 2 more Eagles. So we'll see what Coach. I'm assuming Coach is going to go CMC, and he did.
Yep.
I want
Debo there at 2 on ADP, and when you go with him, you have the same problem. So it's almost like you got to take CMC, the guy who could just break slates each week.
Yeah, it looks like Debo or Tyreek's going to fall to me, or even Brock Purdy. I don't mind Purdy, I guess. He went Debo. I don't want Tyreek. I just took Tyreek last time. I'm going to go Brock Purdy just because I took Tyreek. I know I have a lot of Jalen. So I'm going to take him and either take Ayuk or Kittle unless you take them both.
No, I won't take I don't know. I don't know if I have any IU Kittle action. I was kidding.
No, hey, go for it, man. It's totally fine.
I'm going to go with my Eagles. I just like this build a lot. And I have a lot of Eagles builds where I would go maybe Hurts and then Tyreek Hill there because most people are probably going Hurts Brown. But then I fill out my other Eagles with the Smith, Swift, Goddard later. And I just think that makes me a little bit different. And I can also stack up the Dolphins side too. So I like those types of builds as well. But I did a Hurts Brown earlier today, and I liked it quite a bit. So I'm going to try and do something similar and make my AFC teams a little bit different.
Yeah, I think the Niners, man, they're tough. I don't see anybody going into San Fran and beating them, but hey, stranger things have happened. Would love to see, Eagles, Niners or Cowboys, Niners. I think those would be two really good games in conference championship. Interested to see how it all shakes out because Coach is gambling that the Bills are going to win this weekend. So I like that, Coach. You got a lot of faith in those Bills. They're favored in Miami. Miami's kind of beat up. So
I think they have like a 95% chance of making the playoffs. So there's multiple wins for the Bills at least.
So now I got the Niners. I need to focus on some I could go Kelsey. I'm just down on those Chiefs or down on Kelsey. I like Rice, but
yeah.
Let's see who I can get. I want to pair somebody. I'm gonna go Mostert because I didn't get him last time. I like the Dolphins a little bit.
All right. So earlier today, I just went with the full Hurts, Brown. I took Smith, and then I took one of the other Eagles. But since these Chiefs guys are here, I'm gonna make it a rematch of last year's Super Bowl. We're gonna go with Eagles, Chiefs. And this one, I know I don't have any builds like this. I like that start quite a bit, actually.
Yeah, I do too. I didn't even think about Pacheco. I was thinking Rice, Kelsey, but yeah, I got this cat coming on me. So I'm going to get Waddle, and hopefully we can get, England, Niners.
Oh, yeah.
Niners, Fins, which I don't think is the worst matchup.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Except when I have to draft turns.
They got to stay healthy because it's only like 4 guys doing all the work on that team. But if they're all healthy, they're dangerous.
I think this one too, the drafters, you alluded to it earlier. It's like the tight end is so critical. I think people often forget about it. Not forget, but don't factor that in as much because, like you said, Underdog, it's a wide receiver tight end combo where this is a little bit different.
Yeah. And sometimes you just get boxed out of the tight ends and it just sucks. Sometimes I'll even go 3 tight ends in that case and just hoping that you get a couple rounds worth of points.
Yeah, I saw Network. I saw that they got the 3rd overall highest odds to win the Super Bowl, 2nd in the AFC, like you said. But man, they could not even get in because the Jaguars and I think it's the Steelers. They got easy matchups on Sunday against the Titans.
Yeah, I have a lot of Jags stacks because they always fall. And if you just need a 2nd or 3rd team to start stacking up, you can get like a Ridley ETN, and then you can still get an Ingram to fall to you, throw on Lawrence. So the Jags just seem to fall to me a lot where I'm like, you know what, if they can go a couple rounds, my drafters portfolio might be looking pretty nice.
I'm not gonna get Goddard. I'll let you take Goddard. I'm gonna take Jake Ferguson.
And then I would say that you do need a 2nd quarterback because you have no quarterback round 1 at this point. So that's something you got to think about. But I'm gonna add on to my Philly stack. Give me Swift and Goddard. So now I have an entire team right here. If that's the Super Bowl, I got Hurts, I got Pacheco as my running back, I got 2 wide receivers, I got a tight end, and then I got a flex. So if we got a rematch of last year's Super Bowl, I'm golden every round.
Yeah, and they're playing every game too, so you gotta like that.
Yeah. So those are my favorite types of lineups to get. So yeah, if you're just hoping before you get into a draft, for me, I'm hoping to get a 4 through a 6 draft spot.
Yeah, I just went best player available in my opinion with Kyron. I mean, he's going to touch it 25 times a game. Hopefully, they can win a game or 2. I feel like I can find some pieces on the back end. I need to start building towards the Super Bowl, which I kind of did with the Niners, Dolphins. Now I want to finish that out and get some best player available that I think. I spent so much money on Gabe Davis and Darren Waller in the regular regular drafters. I don't think I could do it anymore. Thank God the Giants aren't available now.
Gabe Davis was actually my highest owned player in regular best ball this year. I had like 30+%. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, Gabe and Darren Waller, they cost me so much money.
And he was available every week, but it was really my quarterbacks crushed me because I was sort of fading the top 4 guys, hoping that the field could do it. But the whole field got hurt, basically. So all my guys, I was high on Kirk Cousins. I was high on Aaron Rodgers. Just so many guys that it was just a rough year. And a lot of my teams, I went with 2 quarterbacks. So I think next year, especially on drafters, I might try to make it a point to get 3 quarterbacks in there just in case it's similar to this year.
Yep. So I went Puka,
right,
another Ram. You got the quarterback whisperer, Matthew Stafford. I'll draft him as probably more than likely. But I need some more Dolphins and I need some more Niners because that's kind of the Super Bowl I'm angling at.
I like it. All right, I'm going to go ahead and throw in my Jacksonville stack, I guess. We'll start with Ingram. And then we'll go with, you know what? We'll go with ETN.
Yeah, I love that pick.
This time, just because there's multiple wide receivers I'm okay with for the Jags. But yeah, I think that they're like 77% likely to make the playoffs. Next week, we'll know what it all looks like. And then if, let's say, Houston gets in, then you have like 3,000 teams that are already drafted that are not stacking up Houston. So you can start getting different next week by getting the teams that just nobody has taken shots on yet. But I think that this is also a better site because over on Underdog, you probably have the nuts lineup already locked up because people were getting Lamar Jackson in like the 3rd round a few weeks ago. But over here, you've only had a couple thousand people drafting so far, and ADP has not changed much, or not a ton anyway, since I started drafting. So I just think it makes a ton more sense to be drafting over here. I won't make another single draft over there on Underdog. Every one of my drafts moving forward are going to be over here on Drafters.
Yeah, I like how fast it goes too. I mean, obviously, we're going to do 2 of these drafts in a little over 40 minutes. So good, quick, easy, and it gives you a nice little sweat, hopefully, and hopefully makes the Super Bowl even more entertaining if you got 6 guys lined up and you're up there near the top. Let's see, I've kind of cornered myself into taking Matthew Stafford. I'm assuming he hasn't gone. No, there he sits right there. Let's see who else is out there. I like Calvin Ridley as well. I'm not going to get him. I'll take Matthew Stafford.
Well, thank you much. All right, what round? We in 9. All right, yeah, I'll take 2 Jags, I guess, at this point, unless, 2 Jags. We'll go Ridley's the easy one, and then who would you prefer if you're going Christian Kirk or Zay Jones if you're trying to stack up the Jags?
Neither really, but Kirk, I guess, if he's healthy. I don't know that I haven't seen the latest on him though. Is he back?
Yeah, I think he might come back this week, and he's only $3K on DraftKings, which could be complete chalk.
I did see that.
But yeah, I'm going to go with ceiling, so I'll take Kirk.
Yeah, I mean, we saw what they did last year in the playoffs too. They had a monster game round 1 against the Chargers, then they almost beat the Chiefs. If they can get healthy, they got the pieces. I don't hate that at all. What do I need? Let's see. I need a good tight end, which they're all gone. I'm gonna go with Chris Godwin just to rack up some catches. Assuming they get in, assuming they can beat the Panthers and get in, I think he can catch upwards of 16 passes over 2 games. Maybe don't hate that.
Yeah. I got some Tampa stacks. They're like they're supposed to get in. I think it's something like 56% chance of making the playoffs for Tampa.
Yeah, they just got to beat the Panthers. They're 5.5-point favorites.
Right?
Yeah. So if you can't beat the Panthers, you don't deserve to be in the playoffs anyway. So.
Truth.
And I deserve to lose $20. So.
Yeah, I like those ones as well because you can get an Evans, Rashid White, and then you can get Godwin coming back. So I have some Tampa stacks as well. You can just get different in these late rounds and hoping that you get at least 2 games worth of these people. Yeah, I think I'm just going to keep adding on to these Jacksonville guys. Just in case,
Yep. No,
get them all in there.
Yeah. So I was trying to look at my team to kind of see what I needed. I mean, I'm hoping for a Dolphins. I'm hoping for a Dolphins, Niners, or even a Dolphins, Rams Super Bowl, and then I need to get another tight end. So I'm gonna need to get a Dolphins tight end, which is gonna have to be Smythe, which I don't love, but you never know.
All right, we're gonna go Lawrence, and then hopefully Zay Jones will still. Yeah. All right, got a full Jag stack to go along with Philly and Kansas City. I like this team a lot. Those are always my favorite teams. When every single person is just from 3 teams, those are my favorite kinds of builds right there. We got Hurts to Swift to AJ Brown to Goddard. Then we went the full Jacksonville, and then I also got Pacheco Rice from Kansas City. So feel good about that one.
I think CMC's calf's going to lock up on him, and Elijah Mitchell's going to be the key to me winning this whole thing. I went ahead and took Elijah Mitchell the last pick. Obviously, hope CMC doesn't get hurt, but just taking some insurance. And Elijah Mitchell could have, 8 for 60 in the Super Bowl and a touchdown or something. You never know.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, if I'm getting Purdy and then Ayuk, you're locked out of all the other studs. So I typically get a Mitchell or even a Mason, and then I'll tack on a Juwan Johnson too, just to try and get some pieces there. If they do go to the Super Bowl, most people will only have 2 49ers. So if you can have 4 in your lineup, opposed to just the 2 and not somebody in the other conference, then I don't know, you just got that much of a leg up.
Yeah, your team is dynamite, man. I love the Jaguars. I think they got, they play the Titans. They got to beat the Titans this week. But once again, if you can't beat the Titans, then you don't deserve to be in the playoffs. But man, if those Jags get in the playoffs, they'll have a home game because they'll win the division if they win. So you would think they would win that game, then go on the road. If they're healthy, man, Marty, you got a good chance, I think, because I really like them. Then obviously you got some studs up top in the Eagles. So don't hate that at all.
Yeah, I like this one a lot. I'd say this is the top 2 or 3 build that I've done so far in my 26 drafts so far.
Yeah. All right. Well, that'll do it for us. Appreciate y'all tuning in. Appreciate you joining the draft. That we had two listeners join the Draft Networks Academy.
Real quick.
Let's say that I broke out. I'm
gonna see what Coach did real quick. So he went with a Buffalo. He's got a lot of Ravens as well too. So he's hoping he's got his NFC or AFC Super Bowl team locked up, and then he threw in some pieces. Like he said, he likes to build, so it worked out nice for him. I think it looks pretty good. Jaden Reed, somebody I've kind of missed out on in my earlier builds. I've been getting more of him in my last 2 or 3 days of drafting, but that kid's a stud.
Yeah, the way he's been playing, man, to get him in the 11th round, that's pretty good because, like I said earlier, you're going to get a PPR, and he's a PPR machine. They give him into round, so yeah, if the Packers can win a game or 2, you're looking pretty good right there. Anything else, Marley, before we wrap up?
Nah, just go sign up over at Drafters. Promo code SHIPIT. Match your first deposit up to $100. So go get in there. Hopefully you guys can ship it and win $50K.
Yeah. Well, that'll do it for us. Appreciate you tuning in. We'll do one more of these shows. I think it's next week. I think it's next Friday, Marley, with you and Hoop maybe, or you and Title. And but for Marley, for Ham, we'll see you next time, and let's ship it.